your magic twanger, Froggy.
Hiya, kid, hiya, hiya.
Uh-oh.
After a long, hard day of doing God knows whatever the hell it is you do, don't you just love the fact that you can sit back and relax and watch Biograph Days, Biograph Nights, where you can relax and watch the golden memories of your past? Hey, remember that Beefaroni ad? And where were you the first time you saw that Ajax ad? Oh, things were simpler then. I had little to no responsibilities. Not like now. Out of work, 30-something. Nothing to do with my life but sit around and watch some show that reruns commercials I used to avoid watching in the first place. Biograph Days, Biograph Nights, you can have it.
If high-tech commercials turn you off, then Leonard Maltin has the fix. He takes us back to a simpler time when the hard sell was considerably softer, right, Leonard?
Absolutely, John. Now, this is the time of year when many of us have occasion to check out the latest toys. Well, there's a fellow in New York City who spends most of his time checking out toys that are 30 years old and trying to find the commercials that promoted them. You might say he's trying to relive his childhood, which is nice work if you can get it.
What's new, Hasbro? Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head with their own cars and trailers. That's what's new.
If commercials like this give you a nostalgic twinge, you're not alone.
Ideal's Robot Commando is here to help you.
Boy, I remember all of these, and it's a great kick to see these TV commercials again.
Here he comes, greatest toy you've ever seen, and his name is Mr. Machine.
But if it weren't for a collector and archivist named Ira Gallen, they might not be available to see.
Ideal Toys, Milton Bradley, Hasbro, all the companies I grew up with as a kid have thrown out all their commercials. So I started getting in contact with them and saying, listen, I can find them, and if you have anything left, 4 or 5 films, I'll restore them. And they all started calling me, which started with the Ovaltine collection.
Ovaltine! Gallen is the one who prodded Ovaltine to look in its vaults to find the original Captain Midnight show, which it sponsored back in the 50s. They couldn't find any shows, but they did find the commercials, which Gallen restored, which inspired the company to reuse them in a recent series of TV spots with the original Captain Midnight, Richard Webb.
And drink Ovaltine every day. It's the official Secret Squadron drink.
Gallen isn't just interested in the commercials. He looks for children's shows, behind-the-scenes footage, industrial and sales films, and even home movies that might show kids playing with the toys. And there's no shortage of material out there.
He's here! My mystery day!
Mystery Day.
The key of all the history of television is probably sitting in people's houses who collect garbage. And I consider myself one of the greatest collectors of garbage in the country.
Of course, one person's garbage is another person's treasure. And Gallen's latest project is working with the Lionel Train Corporation to help them organize their collection of historic films. So it looks like he'll be busy for quite a while yet, traveling back to the future and taking us along for the ride.
Rockets ready! Fire 1! Fire 2! 3! 4!
Boy, I remember that. The thing I remember most clearly from my childhood is that the toys were never quite as exciting in person as they seemed in those commercials. Well, if you want to see more of those commercials, you can contact Video Resources in New York. That's Ira Gallen's company, which has released a lot of them on tape.
I had the best record for wrecking those things. The Steve Canyon deal went in 30 seconds.
Oh, yes, yes. Not
Sounds like
built for a
you had
lifetime.
every one of them, too.
Yeah, I did.
Thanks, Leonard.
Return with us now to those black and white TV days of yesteryear when toy commercials were king of the tube. Leonard Maltin shares some memories. Leonard?
You know, Lisa, it's funny. At a time when many people consider commercials an intrusion and others zap through them on their VCRs, it might sound strange to be talking about putting them in a museum. But right now, the Museum of Broadcasting in New York City is celebrating the finest achievements of TV commercials over the years. And one collector has contributed his treasure chest of TV spots for a particular kind of product.
G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe, fighting man from head to toe, on the land, on the sea, in the air.
G.I. Joe attack! Boom, boom!
Oh, don't you just love it? These are toy commercials from the 1950s and 60s, and they certainly evoke that era.
Oh, Chatty Cathy, oh, Mattel's famous talking doll.
Talk about nostalgia. But these simple, straightforward TV spots are also a kind of social history. They tell us a lot about the way we were 20 to 30 years ago.
Boy, I'll draw my Dick Tracy snub nose 38, and I'll...
Yes, that's Billy Mooney. And what kid wouldn't have loved to own this imitation Cape Canaveral, especially when the space race was brand new?
4, 3, 2, 1, blast off!
Commercials also tell us who was popular back then. Remember when Roy Rogers was king of the cowboys? Well, who better to sell his own tie-in toy product?
Have you seen the Roy Rogers Fix-It Chuck wagon? It's just like the one we use at roundup time, with wheels you can take off and put back on. Of course, that's me sitting up front with Dale.
Shirley Temple was really a star of the 1930s, but when her movies came to TV some 20 years later, she became a star all over again. And so did her doll.
She's waiting for you at your favorite toy store.
You'd think the best place to find old commercials like these would be the toy companies themselves. But you'd be wrong. Just ask curator and collector Ira Gallen.
Most of the corporations over the last 30 years threw out most of their history, because in 30 years they changed hands 2 or 3 times, and then they were just inventory lists gathering dust, and they threw it out, literally. Chiquita Banana threw out their whole history. Hasbro threw out their whole history. Lionel threw out everything they owned, plus the molds of their trains.
Fortunately, some companies did hold on to their films, and private collectors take up the slack. Without them, we might not be able to relive the time when some of the most ingenious toys came from Battle Creek, Michigan.
Send 1 box top from Kellogg's Corn Flakes and just 10 cents. That's 1 box top and just 10 cents to Flying Superman, Box 330, Battle Creek, Michigan.
And if you think you've seen everything, just wait. Ira Gallen has also found home movies showing kids playing with the toys, along with rare industrial footage that reveals how such gems as Ideal's Robert the Robot were actually put together. It's almost more than a nostalgia buff can stand, but there's still some missing pieces to the puzzle.
Before I die, I just want to see that last clip of Rock'em Sock'em Robots with Rocky Graciano doing it. It's just a simpler time back then, and that's what I grew up on.
Remember, only G.I. Joe is G.I. Joe.
Boy, if you're a certain age, those commercials have got to bring back a lot of memories. Very potent memories. Ira Gallen's show opens at the Museum of Broadcasting on August 1st, and his collections are available on video through Video Resources New York.
We grew up with TV, and TV grew up with us, like the kids' shows from the golden age of New York television.
Say, kids, what time is it?
We hear the melodies, hear the words, and we're kids again. Ira Gallen collects old commercials and old TV shows and TV toys. He's trying to recreate the TV of his childhood on his excellent cable TV show, Biograph Days, Biograph Nights.
One day I went to Museum of Broadcasting, wanted to see my old shows, Rudy Kazooie, Captain Midnight. They didn't exist. And it became an obsession to go find everything I ever watched on television.
Today, in part because of collectors like Ira Gallen, you'll find Rudy Kazooie complete with commercials at the Museum of Broadcasting.
Well, honey, Letterman's over. What do you want to watch?
You know, Biograph Days, Biograph Nights. What else?
Folks.
Who's this guy?
Let me just set this stuff up here.
Setting up a screen and everything.
Here, kitty. She's hyper cat lady. Not mine. Well, here's our show.
What's the greatest cause of headache? It's tension. 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 When things go wrong, tension can build up and up. Suddenly, you've got a miserable headache. Nerves and muscles tighten. Stomach feels uneasy, queasy. You need...
Thanks for joining us on tonight's presentation of Biograph Days, Biograph Nights. I haven't had a chance to get back to all the people over the last year that have called and written in about the programming and how much they've enjoyed it. I thought it was a little fitting here that I put a little presentation together of those who made phone calls to us.
Hi, my name is Sheila, and I moved here from California, and I think that this is the best television programming I've seen in New York City, and finally I feel at home because of your show. Bye.
Just got to tell you guys that it's great, although I never can find your listings in Cable Guide. Fantastic show. It's just, it's what I'd always like to see on TV. It's sensible, fun, and a little bit more interviews, but the cartoons are fantastic. Betty Boop is great.
Hi, Ira. It's Mario. It's my birthday Monday, and a bunch of us are going out to dinner at Bayamo. It's near Columbus, downtown. So that will be Monday at 8 o'clock.
Hi, my name is Carl, and I'm watching your program on Manhattan Cable TV for quite a long time now, and I think that all of the people behind this are absolute genius at editing fantastic clips and putting wonderful films together. It's great video. You're all wonderful. I was watching Channel D last night, I believe it was, and I saw some a lot of animated and science fiction footage choreographed to dance music. It's the second time I'd seen the bit, but I came in again in the middle. I was fascinated. I wanted to know when it was scheduled to play again so I could perhaps videotape it.
Oh, hi. I have just seen the show on Saturday, ending at midnight. I haven't seen any Rudy Kazooie in 30 years. I wanted to thank you. This is by far the best thing I've seen on cable in years.
I must say that with excitement and joy, I'm once again watching these wonderful cartoons that I used to watch when I was a little girl.
A lot of your programs I saw as a young child, and it's very much appreciated that you had brought them back. It's been so long since I've seen a lot of them. The Betty Boop comedies, kind of a pleasure to see them again, especially Rudy Kazooie.
Hi, my name is Ann, and I just called to thank Ira and the Video Resources crew for restoring my faith in mankind and myself, because I've been trying to tell a lot of people about being on the Rudy Kazooie show when I was a kid, and they're all telling me that I'm crazy and there never was such a thing, and I just saw it on your show, and I knew I wasn't crazy to begin with, so thanks a lot, guys, and I really think your show is great.
About 20 years ago, I remember the original version of Superman cartoons. They were created by Paramount Pictures between 1941 and 43. There was a total of 17 animated cartoons. They were made by Max Fleischer, the original Popeye cartoonist. These were the greatest cartoons I've ever seen in my life. I am a cartoonist myself. I sure wish you would bring them back. Now, I'm no kid writing in to watch Betty Boop or Rudy Kazooie, because to me that's all a lot of bull. But these old-time cartoons were the greatest. Thank you.
And I am Vice President in charge of World Sales. What you have just seen in this film is a demonstration of revolutionary showmanship.
What is this? What is this? This is a television camera. Take one.
Naturally, with the results now before us all, we are more convinced than ever.
Well, how do you doing, and where, Mr. Smith?
Fighter jet and making a left bank to join formation.
Flight leader to ideal fighter jet. Turn indicator on.
Wind him. Go on. You can't break the spring, but listen.
And his name is Mr. Machine, Mr. Machine, Mr. Machine.
Well, here we are. Okay. Okay. They really put us in a beautiful theater for our first show on television. That's what I was going to say, Lou. This is one of those gorgeous theaters I've ever been in. One of the finest theaters. Get that beautiful wall over there.
Marvelous.
Isn't that a nice wall?
It is really.
Do you know what that wall reminds me of?
What?
This one over here.
No, I don't believe it.
You will, Blinky. You will.
We have assembled the whole range of our experience with a picture, and we are making it available to you in every possible way.
She didn't go off.
And here is Mr. Walter Reed, Jr. of the DeMille and Baronet Theaters in New York City.
All I can say is that the results are fantastic. It's plausible, practical, and there's no reason that I can possibly think of why it won't work any place in the United States.
When I used to play ball with the kids, it's 7 in there. Ooh. I was a flop. And then my mother discovered Bosco syrup.
Well, that's our show for tonight, folks. I hope you liked it. See you next time. Bye.
Who was that man, dear?
What man?
Say, sitting in the center of the Super Circus Arena is our ringmaster, Mr. Claude Kirshner, who's all ready to blow the whistle that will start the Super Circus show. So come on, gang, let's get going.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children everywhere, your Super Circus show is on once again with more laughs, thrills, and chills for your television entertainment.
I don't know how to describe it exactly, but it was a small theater. You know, in New York, like the booth, it's relatively small. The stage is not very big. It's not. You never put a musical in there or anything like that. Well, that's what the Civic Theater in Chicago was, very small. And this backdrop gave it the illusion of being a... When people saw that, they wouldn't believe it. So you mean to tell me you put that show on that stage? It's a postage stamp. It's what we did.
What is it?
Mr. Custer. Slippy and Scampy. Hey, you two guys, it's time to march.
Now, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's time to turn our attention to the bandstand for some of that wonderful music. Here's one of the mighty melodies of the Big Top. And our Super Circus Band is waiting only for the downbeat of our lovely queen, Miss Mary Hartline.
The way we found out that we were really successful is when the people from the J.M. Mathis agency came from New York and said, we want to buy this show for Canada Dry, for the full network. We couldn't believe it. Matter of fact, the ABC people said, oh, you don't want to buy that. You know, buy something. I said, no, I want to buy that show because we want to make ginger ale something other than to pour whiskey into, you know, which is really what it was. I mean, it wasn't a refreshment drink. It was, in those days, there was a lot of whiskey and ginger ale, you know, and scotch and soda. Remember scotch and soda? And of course, Canada Dry was the brand. So, of course, it worked like a charm. You know, they came out with these small bottles, remember? And Mary Hartline would wink into the camera with Canada Dry. That's a real good buy. Oh, did that work? It sold, you have no idea how much it's... Well, of course, then we got other sponsors. And then Canada Dry left us, and we had Mars, we had Kellogg, we had Weatherbird Shoes.
Sure, because Kellogg's Bread Sweet is just a wonderful waker-up for the first thing in the morning.
Boys and girls, whatever is your favorite Kellogg's breakfast treat, you'll find a generous box full of it in Kellogg's Variety Pack. Now, remember, for party treating and eating, get 3 Musketeers in the handy 6-pack or the big double dozen box.
If you see the kinescopes that show the old shows of Super Circus, you'll notice there are no film commercials because they didn't have any. Who wrote the commercials? The agencies.
And me.
Including the lovely Mary Hartline Boots. Well, 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 congratulations to you, honey. Congratulations.
Boys and girls, these 2 colorful dancing puppets of Chrissy and me are lots of fun to play with. So why don't you get your gang together, send for us, build your...